So let's go and do some research and find the best high dividend ETFs on the Australian Stock Exchange right now. So I've looked at 22 of the top high dividend yield ETFs. I've had a look at the yield, I've had a look at the 5-year return. Some of them haven't been around for 5 years, so I'll make a note of that. We'll also look at how often they pay out and of course the management fees. Now out of this list, there's only 3 that I really like, but we'll cover that in a minute when I show you the results, and we'll have a look at where I got the information from and what the results were. Now there are plenty other ETFs that I didn't include in this video that aren't specifically marketed to be high yield, perhaps that they're property stocks that still give you a good yield, but they aren't marketed so much as a high yield ETF. So I will do those in a different video, but these are the ones that call themselves high yield or equity funds. So let's go and have a look at them and we'll see which ones I like the best. So here's all the information that I collected. So we've got ETFs that cover Australian companies, global yield ETFs, and the US market ETFs. I've organized them from yield highest to lowest in all the categories. Franking usually only applies to Australian companies, which is why there's none in the global or US markets. Management fees, which vary greatly depending on the fund. Frequency, how often they pay out. There's a few that pay monthly, but most pay quarterly. And the 5-year return. If it hasn't been around for the full 5 years, I've still put the percentage in and kept it white. Most of the information I got was from the company websites themselves, although there were a few that I got from Market Index simply because the company websites were extremely difficult to find the information I was looking for. Not all company websites are updated regularly, nor are they very easy to navigate. And all of this data was collected on the 5th and 6th of February. Of the ones that I like the best, and we'll go and look at them in more detail, I do like the Intelligent Investor Australian Equity Income Fund. It's had a pretty okay 5-year return and a really high, nice yield. The management fees, however, are extremely high, one of the highest from this group. And of course, we have VHY, which I always seem to recommend because I like it a lot. It is one of the most popular high yield dividend ETFs in Australia for good reason. Vanguard's a great fund manager. They've done really well over the last 5 years, 26% increase over the last 5 years. That's an overall increase too, not a per annum. And the other one I like, if you're looking for something overseas, I do quite like the Beta Shares S&P 500 Yield Maximizer Fund though. It's increased 23% over the last 5 years, which is great. And they have a pretty nice yield. So let's look at those 3 in more detail, starting with my favorite VHY. The reason I like it so much is because the dividends are so consistent year on year. It always hovers around the 5% distribution yield. It always holds around 73 companies. And over the last 1 and 5 years, they've been increasing in price. It's always pretty consistent with its growth as well. Next is INIF, the Intelligent Investor Australian Equity Income Fund. It has only started paying really good dividends in the last 2 years, but its distribution yield is pretty high, so I like it for that reason. It's only got 25 holdings, so not as much as VHY, but it has been decreasing over the last year. It has increased in price since around November last year, but it's still kind of on a downturn, even though it has been up over the last 5 years overall. So I still like it overall for that yield, but it is one to keep watch on. And of course, UMAX, if you want to invest overseas. I think this is a good, nice, simple index fund. It's very consistent with its distributions, which is why I like it a lot. It has a good mix of sectors. It pretty much holds a lot of the US companies that you would know about. Over the last year and 5 years, it has increased in price. So that's the results that I found doing my research this time around. I hope you found this video useful and got some information out of it that you can use going forward. Remember to do your own research. It doesn't matter what I or anyone else likes. It's up to you about where you put your money. So always do your own research. Anyway, take care and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.